Okay, so this week we're taking on Tony, and as you're about to see, he has a very scary team with a Latias and Primarina that just absolutely destroys basically anything I could potentially bring. No Necklace stack, yes, okay, so I'm just free to spam Shadow Balls with my Gengar, which is really good. So he brought the Quillfish over the Necklace stack, and he bought Sundress Therian over... What did he bring that over that I expected? Oh, he brought over Great Tusk. Interesting. Okay. So no Great Tusk, so I don't need to worry about Rapid Spin or Booster Bulk Up shenanigans, which is good. So, unfortunately with what he brought, my Noctowl is going to be kind of useless. But that's okay. I generally expect him to probably lead the Cinderace here, as Cinderace is just very strong against my team in general. So what I'm going to do is he actually might lead the Quillfish. Yeah, he might lead the Quillfish. So I'll lead the Gengar, as Gengar is very strong against basically any of his defensive Pokemon. The only Pokemon I really need to be careful about with my Gengar is the Cinderace, and potentially the Primarina if he's like an Assault Vest variant, which is very possible. So I expect him to probably lead the Quillfish if he really expects my Meowscarada to lead, or the Skarmory also if he expects my Meowscarada to lead. If he wants to play an offensive lead, he can bring the Cinderace out, but I don't think he's going to do that, as that is not what I would do if I were him. If he does bring the Cinderace out, I just have to bring my Pelipper in. So that is the Cinderace. Okay, a little unfortunate. So yeah, this Cinderace will be able to just take out my Gengar should I allow it to stay in here. So I am not going to do that. I'm just going to go straight out into my Pelipper, which can take any hit this wants to go for. If he reveals the Electro Ball, fine, he has the Electro Ball set. But I am running a Scarf Pelipper this week, so even though it's 4 times effective, it's not going to do a whole lot. If I were him, I would probably U-turn here. It's because my switch is super obvious. Like, there's no world in which I sack off my Gengar here, unless I'm like Sash. But even if I am Sash, the Pyro Ball is always his best play. Sorry, the U-turn is always his best play. So I go my Rain, Pelipper, and he goes for the Pyro Ball. Okay. Does absolutely nothing. It's because this is Pelipper. And I'm just going to fire off my Weather Ball, hoping he doesn't expect Scarf Pelipper in this matchup. As he doesn't expect Scarf Pelipper, so we take out the Cinderace early on in the game with a little bit of Heat surprise set. So Cinderace is gone, which is basically his only Pokemon he had that really threatened my Gengar. So now my Gengar endgame looks absolutely amazing. I don't think he should have risked his Cinderace there, but it's fair if he was just completely bamboozled and caught off guard. So our Scarf Pelipper just doing mad work. Now, I think he's going to go out into something to punish my Pelipper. I don't know what he's going to go out into. He could go out into Latias. No, he goes out into Primarina. Okay, that is completely fair, as Primarina also just completely punishes my Pelipper. Do I let Pelipper go down here? That's honestly tempting. It's because I don't have anything that really switches into this Primarina, and Chip will be nice to get it into my Gengar range. So, it's because I do like my Pelipper endgame a little bit here. No, I'm just gonna fire off the Weather Ball. If he takes me out, he takes me out. There's a chance he'll just flip turn, or he'll just like go for the water move. So I get a decent truck on the Primarina, revealing, okay, I don't know if that's a Assault Vest off that damage, as he just goes for the 6th flip turn, expecting me to switch out. But I didn't see a reason to switch out there. Like, I don't have a good direct switch into his Primarina, and Pelipper feels like the most optional Pokemon I have at this point in the game, as his Cinderace is gone, so I don't really need to check the Cinderace. So he goes out into Latias. Fair enough, as I revealed I am locked into the water move. Now on Latias, I'm terrified of this, so I'm actually just going to go directly out into my Meowscarada. My Meowscarada should be able to take like any one hit this wants to go for, as Latias is fairly defensive. I think there's a good chance he's like a weakness policy agility set into my team, which I just need to generally be aware of, and why I brought the Sucker Punch on the Meowscarada. So he's got to think about this for a while. I mean, he may just press Flip Turn again, honestly. I mean, yeah, Flip Turn is completely free here. Yep, so let's see what he does. He Ice Beams on my Meowscarada. Does it take it out? No, it does not. My Meowscarada tanks. Okay, so that was the ideal. Now, I don't want U-turn is because if he goes out into the Skarmory and he reveals he's like Rocky Helmet Skarmory, that'll be a little worrisome. So instead of doing that, I'm actually going to go directly out into my Gengar, expecting his Skarmory to come in. And even if he goes for like an Ice Beam, my Gengar will be able to eat the hit. I don't think there's any world in which he stays in unless he's like a Scarf Gladius. So I assume the Skarmory is coming in. He probably is trying to get the Rocky Helmet chip, which is, you know, completely fair. No, he goes out into Qwilfish. Okay, is the Rain gonna run out? Oh no, he's Intimidate. Okay. So Rain runs out, and he doesn't really have a Gengar switch in, so I'm just gonna press the Shadow Ball, trying to Brain Deadly. Qwilfish shouldn't be able to take me out with anything. And I might actually take him out depending on what investment he has on this Qwilfish. No, he's like, okay, he's more like especially defensive. Do I eat that? I should. Yeah. Qwilfish isn't exactly the most offensive. So Liquidation is burnt. It reveals Black Sludge. I don't know why people run Black Sludge on Qwilfish, honestly. It's not a good item for Qwilfish. So I'm just going to Shadow Ball here. Looking at his team, he has absolutely no switch in. So he has to take a sack. I imagine he sacks off the Qwilfish here. Qwilfish is very iffy into my team. Him going into the Qwilfish into my Meowscarada is also very telling. Is because that's telling me that is not a Rocky Helmet Skarmory. As I feel like if he was Rocky Helmet Skarmory, he would have went straight out into that to try to take out my Meowscarada on my U-turn. So he's got to think about this for a while. I don't really know what he clicks. Yeah, he has a couple options. He could sack off the Primarina, but if he sacks off the Primarina, that opens up one of my endgames. I forget which endgame it opens up. It opens up my Landorus endgame a little bit. Okay, yeah, he was really thinking about that, but he ultimately made the correct play. He sacked off the Qwilfish, which was one of the most optional Pokemon he had at that point. So Qwilfish is gone. What he has left is Primarina, Skarmory, Thundurus, and Latias. I need to be very careful about that Latias. Now, here, I don't know what he goes, honestly. He might go Latias and play for Speed Ties. That's possible. Yeah, Latias and, Latias makes a lot of sense. So he's got to play for Speed Ties. Completely fair. Do I want to risk the Speed Tie? It's tempting. The reason why risking the Speed Tie is just kind of tempting here is if I win it, it just completely opens up my Pelipper endgame. I could go Skarmory also, my Corviknight also, but the thing about Corviknight is if he is like an agility weakness policy set and I U-turn in his face, I will have made a terrible mistake. So I am just going to Shadow Ball and play for the Speed Tie. Nope, he won the Speed Tie. Okay, so my Gengar goes down. Little unfortunate, but oh well. There's a chance he might be a Scarf Latias as well. No, if he was Scarf Latias, he would have stayed in on my Meowscarada before. So that goes down. And here, I'm just going to go out into... I don't really have a good switch into this. Yeah, I really don't have a good switch into this. It's because if he is... There's a chance he's Scarf, and if he is Scarfed, if I go out into Meowscarada, it goes down. So I'm actually going to go out into my Noctowl, force him to reveal whether he's Scarfed or not. As I also don't really need my Noctowl that healthy, so I'm just going to go, do I Terra here? Yeah, I don't really see a reason why not. I don't Terra here. So I just Terra, and I'll fire off the very powerful Terra Blast, as I do not want to miss, and we'll see what he does. If he switches, he's a Scarf Latios. If he stays in Ice Beams, Fighty stays in Ice Beams. But that'll also be telling on information. I don't know what he really does here. I mean, let's see. We're about to find out. I really don't know whether this is like a Scarf Latios or not. Okay, he's probably Scarf Latios then, as I feel like he would have Ice Beamed if I wasn't. Yeah. So he goes on into his Primarina, I get my Terra off, and I'll be able to two-shot this with my Terra Blast. And he has absolutely no switch-in, as Noctowl is just an offensive monster with the tinted lens. It's also pretty specially defensive, so even if he is like a Scarf Primarina, I will be able to take the hit. So I go for Terra Blast. How much does this do? Should two-shot. Yep, 2 shots. Okay, so I'm just going to Terra Blast, take him out. He doesn't have a switch-in, so he's taking a sack here. Yeah, he's definitely taking a sack here. I assume he'll sack off the Primarina here, which if he does that, that opens up my Pelipper endgame a lot. As after that, his only water resist is his Latios, which I'm pretty sure is scarfed with the way he is playing it. And also, since he's Shadow Ball Ice Beam, that tells me that he is not the weakness policy set which I was fearing, which means I can use my Corviknight to check it. So that Latios is now a lot less scary. So he's going to think about this. Now, the ideal for me is if he goes out Skarmory forgetting that Noctowl gets into Lens, but I don't think he's going to be that dumb. I think he's going to make a smart play and sack off Primarina, or makes a sack the okay play and go out into Thundurus and allow it to take Key Chip. So he makes a smart play, he lets his Primarina go down, Primarina is out of the game. So what he has left is Skarmory, Thundurus, and Latios. And let's see. Okay, I assume that is the Thundurus. Fair enough. That immediately brings out my Assault Vest Landorus, which I brought Assault Vest specifically to be able to check this Thundurus. I doubt he goes for the Electric move here. He probably goes U-turn, honestly. And if I really want to be ballsy, I could have stayed in and Terra Blasted, but I really want my Noctowl healthy, as if my Noctowl goes down, his Skarmory becomes a little bit of an issue for me. So he's thinking about this for a while. I mean, his play is... I think his play is always to U-turn here, but we'll see. He might go for the Electric move at speed. I showed earlier on in the game that I'm not afraid to call out people U-turning and punishing that. So I go out this Thunderbolt. Yep. I just completely eat that. And here I'm going to fire off the U-turn. I highly doubt he's going to want to stay in against the Landorus. He's probably going to bring out his Skarmory, and I'm about to find out whether his Skarmory is rocking the Rocky Helmet. No, and he's slow? Okay. Okay, so it's good to know he's willing to stay in on those situations. Yeah, I'll just go out into my Pelipper. I don't think he's going to raw click an Electric move onto my Landorus, so that's why I feel fairly safe doing this. Yep, he didn't do that. Okay, so he clicks U-turn, and I imagine he goes out Latios here, which if he does, I'm going to force him to reveal whether he is the Scarf on his Latios. Yep, I'm going to force him to reveal Scarf. His speed, I don't really have a good Electric switch in, besides my Landorus, which if he isn't Scarfed and he goes for the thing right after, I'll be in a little bit of trouble. The Ice Beam immediately after. So I'm just going to fire off my Ice Beam. If he's Scarfed, he's Scarfed, and I'm about to find out. And if he's Weakness Policy, he got me good. He's not Scarf. Is he Weakness Policy? He's not Weakness Policy. Okay. So Pelipper goes down. But good to know that that is not a Scarf Latias. But I'm fine with just bringing out my Noctowl here and firing off the very big Hurricane, as my Noctowl will be able to eat this hit. And Hurricane should be able to one-shot him back, and once this Latias is gone... Actually, that may have been a mistake. Even though once this Latias is gone, it opens up my Landorus a lot. So I think it was a fair play on my end. Because once the Latias is gone, all he has left is Skarmory and Thundurus. Which, I mean, Skarmory will be able to 1v1 my Landorus, but... I actually think I just put myself in a very bad situation for Skarmory endgame. Oh well. I still think this is my best play, as... I think I can still use my Noctowl to 1v1 Skarmory. It's just very... It becomes a lot harder. Depending on how much his Thunderbolt does. That shouldn't... Yep, that 2 shots. No! Freeze! Are you kidding me? That is literally the 4th freeze I've had in a draft game this week. Not even exaggerating. Okay. So, freeze, that really sucks, as that basically creates a situation where his Skarmory is going to win endgame. Yeah. I think he was playing for the freeze too. Oh well. I think this may take me out of playoffs, honestly, but we'll see. And he's just gonna click recover. And this Skarmory is probably Rocky Helmet. I think that's Gam. Yeah, that's probably Gam. And he gets a Thunderbolt Farah. Fitting. Very fitting. Okay, so my Skarmory, my Corviknight goes out, and I have to go out into my Masquerada. And even though this Skarmory is probably going to be Rocky Helmet, I have to risk it. As I really don't have a choice at this point in the game. With my Noctowl, like, completely RNG'd. Yeah, because there's no situation where I end up beating. There's no situation where I can beat his Skarmory with what I have left. So, that's Gam. I have to try to PP stall it. That's the only hope I have. He reveals he's Cassive Berry, which is fair enough. That would explain why he was willing to risk this to be a tie. So he goes Skarmory, and I'm pretty sure this Skarmory is just going to win, as I'm pretty sure he's going to be Speed Crept and running Taunt. Yeah, there's literally nothing I can do at this point. Man, that is frustrating. If your Noctowl wins this endgame every single time with my Heat Wave, if it weren't frozen right now. And I assume he's running Taunt. He's Swords Dance. Okay, so he's like a Swords Dance armor set. Which is good to note, but... Actually, I think if I knocked him, I would have won the game. Oh well. Is there any way I win this? Probably not. Maybe I can get him to... if I could lower his defense enough to where Sucker Punch can take him out, that's the only way I see myself winning this. Yeah, that's the only way I see myself winning this. So he Brave Birds, takes a Rocky Helmet shape, takes a recoil damage. U-turn's going to drop his defense, or it doesn't drop his defense because of paralysis. And he's got a Roost up, supposed to be he has no reason to fear anything I have to go for. And Paralysis again! Let's go! Now there's really, like, absolutely nothing I can do with just a raw amount of RG that's happened. Oh, U-turn, lowers defense, and I have to keep lowering his defense until hopefully I'll be able to get him into Sucker Punch range, which I highly doubt I'll be able to do, but that's the only help that I have at this point. Yeah, that's the only endgame that I have. Just keep lowering his defenses. I'm like a minus defense nature on my Landorus too. Okay. I think another way I have to win this game is if I can get his Skarmory to trip himself enough to where he is in Sucker Punch range, which I don't think I'll be able to do, honestly, but that's the only thing I can do at this point. So Brave Bird, he takes a Brave Bird chip and a Rocky Helmet chip. So I have to go out Noctowl. And I have to hope that this Brave Bird puts him into Sucker Punch range. Man, this was a very frustrating game. I have no idea if he's in Sucker Punch range, just because I don't know how much attack he put on the Skarmory. So this is a moment of truth, whether I will be able to take him out here. I don't think I will. I mean, I'm at an Adamant Meowscarada, so there's a chance. But we'll see. I mean, if he just Roost here, it's also just game. What she... No, I don't think he would just... Actually, he could just Roost here. So he just Roost and that's game. Oh wait, no, he didn't Roost. And we take out Skarmory. Okay, so that's big. Skarmory's gone. So all he has left is his Thundurus, which will lose to my Landorus 1v1. So despite him getting a Thunderbolt Paralysis, an Ice Beam Freeze, and triple Paralysis on my Corviknight, we still win this game. It's because I'm a Sulfus Landorus, so he shouldn't be able to 1v1 it. And he revealed he isn't Scarfed on his Thundurus. Now, the reason why I'm switching out is if he is like a Nasty Plot, Agility set, and I lock myself into Sucker Punch, I'm in trouble. As he reveals, he is that set. But I am a Sulfus Landorus. I should be able to eat this hit. And Rock Slide should be able to take him out. Yep, as Weather Ball is base 50. So down goes the Thundurus. And a good game to my opponent, but that was just a crazy match. See you guys next week.